All right, everyone, welcome to another episode of Triad Expeditions, and in this episode we are going to continue with the Maverick X3 modification series. Ozzy, be good. So Ozzy's going to supervise from the cage as usual, and he definitely wants to be out here helping us, but he's going to have to stay out of the way. So we are installing today the AFX Motorsports rear spare tire carrier that does fold up, and this is how the box comes straight to you from Laredo, Texas, and we will get this box open and see what's inside. Alright, so here is the main components of the spare tire rack carrier laying out, and definitely utilize the box that they shipped it in to keep it safe. Everything looks really good. It's all powder coated very nicely. They do include, this is kind of important, they do include some acorn style lug nuts up on the place where you're actually going to mount your spare tire, which, you know, obviously you want to check your rims, but I think most of the UTV rims are probably going to be acorn style lug nuts, so there shouldn't be any issues there. You definitely want to check the compatibility and the fitment of those lug nuts just to make sure that you don't have something that is just going to wear at your rims, so definitely consider that. And if they don't seem to be compatible, then it'd be a good time to go ahead and order a set of those, you know, before you get too far along in the installation, especially if you're on a timeline. So going over here, well, first off, definitely we got to mention what beer we're drinking today, and I think it's probably going to be a few more than usual. So we are drinking a very good IPA. You can see a trend here, obviously, right? I'm a big fan of the IPAs. This is the Yellow Springs Brewery Boat Show, the legendary Boat Show IPA. And Yellow Springs is nearby Springfield, Ohio, and this is actually just down the road from us, about 20 minutes. And it's a very, very good brewery. They make a ton of really awesome different breweries. So if you ever see it on the shelf somewhere near you, definitely pick it up. It is widely distributed. I don't know if it's outside the state of Ohio or not, but definitely within the state of Ohio, it's widely distributed. So there's that. Of course, at the end, we'll tell you how many that we needed to complete this project. And I have taken a peek at the installation instructions real quick, and I'm already seeing some discrepancies, which is kind of discouraging, especially with our last experience with the AFX product. You can find AFX products at afxmotorsports.com, and I just want to kind of point out what the first discrepancy is. So we'll definitely figure this out. But step one is basically removing the original bolts of the on the roll bar, and then step two, they want you to do basically the main bar, which is kind of the pivoting point, the cantilever pivoting point for this rack, because this rack actually does pivot up. They call out some 5/16 by 3.5 inch bolts, and they say to repeat it on the other side. The only problem is there's only one or two, that is one baggie with 3.5 inch bolts. And then, you know, obviously I'm thinking that maybe I need to check all my packaging material, because they did package it very nice. There was just a little bit of damage on the one. I've already touched it up with some flat paint, black touch-up paint, but everything else looked good. I mean, it was very well packaged. So I definitely compliment them there. But if you look on the instructions here, you won't even find any mention, and I did measure them. You won't find anywhere in the mounting hardware inventory a 5/16 by 3.5 inch bolt. So something is, we're not getting off to a good start here, so I will let you know what the conclusion is, and I will see if the main beam here says that you can do it with 4 bolts that are 3 inches long, so we'll put that to the test. We'll see if there's actually a discrepancy on how long these bolts need to be, and maybe they only do need to be 3 inch, and maybe these are just like wild card bolts that go somewhere else. So we'll see. All right, so I have the main bar, let me come around this way, installed, and it wasn't easy. A rubber mallet is going to be your friend, I can tell you that right now. And also I ended up having to get rid of one of the rivets up towards that top bolt up there. I know that may not make any sense, but just be aware of the fact that once again, BRP's lack of craftsmanship kind of will get in your way because that rivet wasn't installed flush. So it didn't allow for that bar to go on there. It ended up being the 3-inch screws, not the 3.5. So I'm suspecting that maybe those 3.5-inch bolts that are in the kit will actually never even get used, which is kind of crazy, because the instructions are incorrect. Also, the reservoirs here, I think I'm gonna leave them like pretty much right where they're at, down further. I did have to adjust them. They were all the way up here, which made this run into this bracket. So I think they're gonna land right there. I got to retighten these still. And then a major issue here. So right where the main support for this tire rack goes is like right here, which is dead middle of my my bag holder, cargo holder from Cognito. But that's all right. I mean, so I wasn't real crazy about that bag in the first place, even though, it's kind of expensive. I wasn't crazy about it because it didn't have a single handle on it, which to me, especially with military background, handles, straps, whatever, molly, I'm all about it. A smooth bag, in my opinion, is pretty much worthless. I mean, what are you going to put in there and carry? So I might check with Cognito and see if I can send it back. If not, I'll have to find another purpose for it. But what this area here is going to end up probably getting is some type of custom bag made, or maybe I'll just utilize my Blue Ridge Overland Gear bags on both sides. And I don't know if it's a spoiler alert, but we might be doing something with Blue Ridge Overland Gear later this year, and I'm just going to leave it at that. So that might be an opportunity for us to put something very specific to side-by-side recreation in that area. So we'll see how it goes. We'll move forward with it. I still like this construction better than the BRP tilting rack. There is some really cool design features of this rack, and I think you'll see what I'm talking about as far as the lattice work, the steel. It just looks a lot better than the plastic version. Once again, going back to that plastic stuff. So yeah, moving on, we'll adapt and overcome. All right, so we are on step number 3. Number 2 was basically placing the main bar, which you can see here in the photo. So now we're going to put what they call the rack here, the grill. Install the grill is what they call it. They show you having this in place already. Not sure if that's the case. I know they show the structure underneath there already being there too, so they didn't tell us to install that part there, so I guess I'll go ahead and probably do that. One thing I'm noticing already is they say use 4 3/8 inch by 1 inch screws, and make sure that you use the washers and nuts as shown in the picture, as shown in the picture, on the picture. Not trying to make fun of the poor English, but yeah, it's not written correctly. The problem is, where I'm having issue with, is the fact that this is what they give you, and they don't give you any washers. So they want you to use washers, but they don't give you any washers. So once again, here we are with just instructions that don't match and hardware that doesn't match. So yeah, what I mean. I don't know what to say about it. I think I'm gonna be happy with the final product, but it's just frustrating when you basically get something that could be so easily fixed. So I sent the last video I have not heard back from them as far as, you know, they were very thankful that I was making a video, but I have not heard back from them as far as, hey, you know, is there anything else? This is the discrepancies that we have. We watched your video, whatnot. So not sure. Maybe they're working on it. So that was only about a week ago. All right, well, moving on. I just thought I'd let you know you're gonna have to find some washers for this step. All right, so I have the rack placed up here, and the instructions are just piss poor. I'm just gonna call it out as it is. I didn't put the platform up here because I figure that's definitely accessible after the fact. I don't know, maybe I'll end up having to put it on there now. But at least getting this rack up here, you know, why make it any heavier than it already is? I just put a piece of cardboard down here to kind of protect the Cognito rack. And now I justified these to the right, and I'll let you know. Obviously, I'll make a note or something if this wasn't the right thing to do. But you can't put them, you know, you would think like these hinges would be where these would be in the middle and then the other ones would be on the outside, you know, but they all seem to justify to the right. So not sure how that works out like that, but kind of an interesting decision on how they put those tabs on that bar like that they wanted you to put all of them to the right. And they didn't say that in the instructions, but it appeared by me looking in the best I could for the very small black and white photos that they want you to put them to the right. So yeah, so we'll see if that works out. I'll let you know if it doesn't. I did happen to have some washers. I have quite the collection of hardware here. When you live out in the country, you kind of hold on to every piece of hardware that you have, and when you do enough projects just like this project, you're going to have hardware that's left over. So I do have it all mounted up, and like it says, don't tighten it down too far. These are locking nuts, so they should stay. I'll be spraying some fluid film down in those areas there to kind of lubricate it, because it is kind of like metal against metal. I mean, this isn't going to go up that much. It is cool though. I mean, if you look at it, the welds are a little primitive in some areas, but still not bad for what it is. I mean, they're actual welds, they're not spot welds, so that's kind of cool. And then you know, I mean, it's heavier and all get out, but other than that, I mean, I have no doubt it's going to hold that spare, which it's a pretty heavy spare. So yeah, it doesn't need to be like something on ball bearings or something anymore, you know, beefier than what it is, because you're only going to put it up probably a handful of times. And really, in my case, since I'm not going to be lifting it up to get into like the cooler, you know, and you know how it's critical about the cooler with the lid and stuff in there, I might lift it up maybe to get the bags that I plan on custom building, and I'm looking at it, I may not even have to. So the reason why I'm kind of really taking you along for the steps individually is just kind of give you some reassurance that, you know, hopefully this thing is going to work out in the long run, and who knows if it's going to be compatible with the Cognito product, but I'll make it work. There's no doubt of that. But definitely put some fluid film on that, and make sure that you do use some washers, because that is critical. The washers is kind of acting as part of the hinge, and they even say that you should have the washers, so they just didn't include them. All right, here we are with some parts that are modified. This is the Cognito cage, and I have it loose right now. So what I've had to do is basically trim out the back of it and the tabs too, so that this can push through there and mount separately. So we'll see how this goes. I'm not making any promises. It's definitely one of those things where if you're going to use this Cognito rack, cargo rack, along with, you know, the AFX Motorsports, just don't expect this thing to go in. That's not their fault. You know, this is something I'm doing that's kind of a conjunction. They never promised that the Cognito rack would work with it. They did, however, say that a 35-inch tire will work. So I've made measurements, and I'm very confident that that's going to work. So don't do any of this before you kind of see what the end result is what I'm saying. So just kind of clarify there. I drilled 2 holes for these 2 back holes, and then I wanted to show you before it was together. And then now these front tabs, I've cut the cargo rack front tabs off. So this rack is aluminum, makes things really easy. I ended up having to get a cutoff wheel, electric cutoff wheel tool that made short work of it, and then a nice flat brand new file, cleaned it up, and then I touched all the edges up with some flat black or gloss black touch-up paint. So looks good at this point in time, but we'll see how everything goes together, whether the bag goes in there nicely and how it works out. So all right, we're making a little bit of progress here. It's been absolutely a struggle. If you are not mechanically inclined, do not even think about buying this kit. You absolutely want to send it back. So the upright here that holds it up, it's really solid now because I've put it on this Cognito sport rack, and which has really made it really sturdy. It would have been sturdy before. It wouldn't have really been a problem, though. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it would have been good. There's a lot of cantilever action going on there, but it's mostly just downright. I'm not going to put the strut on there. I can lift stuff. This is probably not going to actually go up very much unless I need to lift it up to maybe get something out. I'm going to talk about later about what I might put back here instead of that Cognito bag. The biggest thing is that when this goes down, first off, they don't give you the handle for this. It's missing. They don't give you washers, and now I'm figuring out that the screws, when they go through here, I can't even get a nut on the back side of this. So I'm going to try to flip this over and see if I can go the other direction with them. Obviously the instructions say nothing about how to put this on, so that is completely just missing. There's no instructions whatsoever about this. So this is not adjustable. So what I was getting at was, if anybody's ever put a hood on, you got adjusters so that this is slotted to go to go left and right. Yeah, there's no adjustment whatsoever. So you're talking about something that's pretty crude. That bar up there landing, and that pin is supposed to go right in the middle. Yeah, good luck with that. So it's it latches, but I have to kind of slam it down to get it to latch. I think maybe when the car goes down the road enough, it might tweak it enough to where it might go back. Maybe eventually I'll rework it. I'm just frustrated with this piece of crap right now that I just want to get it up there and just kind of move on to the next thing. So yeah, alrighty, just wanted to show you these pieces before I get any further. Alright, I'm going to show you a detail real quick before I end up showing you how I'm going to configure this to use it. So I did put the gas strut on there. I managed to round up some more washers. Literally, I think I used every washer that I had here at the house because they included none. So that's a major issue of the hardware. They also did not include this little handle, and I ended up using one of the devices that I use for the holsters that I manufacture. So that worked out pretty good. It's a little handle that the hole spacing happened to be the perfect hole spacing, so maybe I think it's 1 inch is what it is. So it doesn't line up. I might end up maybe putting like a ratchet strap and just kind of tweaking it over so that it does line up better. And I'll just show you right now kind of like how it goes down. See if I can do it one-handed. I doubt it. The lug nuts that they include are pretty much worthless because most of your wheels that you have, it's not going to work. One detail that I did want to show you though, so these are KMCs with a very minimal amount of offset. I guess it's a good thing or maybe not, I don't know. The rim itself actually does stand on that tower, and that tower is super beefy. So I think I'd rather have it like that than, I don't know, hopefully it doesn't rattle around. I kind of usually like to have the tire where it's kind of pressing against whatever it's mounted to for stability. But I mean, it's going to have 4 lug nuts, and I ordered a set of Gorilla lug nuts, which is what KMC uses for their installation packages. So I'm going to put those up there, and they are like a security. So I'm going to show you right now kind of what I'm talking about. As I slam this down, you can see it moves it over. It didn't latch all the way, and it's not, it goes that way. Okay, so if I slam it down hard, I guess it'll work. Yeah, there it goes. Okay, and then yeah, it's just not good. So it's not going to release on its own. I'll end up breaking this latch. So okay, I'm going to show you the next thing as far as how I'm going to actually roll down the road with this. And it does stick out the back a little bit, which really is surprising me because it kind of looked like it was a lot more forward than that. And there was actually like a concern that a 35-inch tire, I mean, they really, I don't know, I think they could have made these mounts up here, they could have rotated them, I don't know, maybe not, because then maybe it would hit. So whatever, I guess they know what they're doing, but that is a pretty far back, not any more than maybe some of the other ones, especially like the Cognitos and the BRP one. I don't have those to compare. So all right, I'm going to put the configure it and show you one more thing, and then we'll wrap this up and I'll give you some final thoughts on this product. All right, so here is the final product, and you know, it's like one of those things where when it's all said and done, and you put the hard work in, and basically find the washers and re-engineer what they're doing and deal with all the missing parts and the missing parts of the instructions, I usually like the way things work out. Now obviously function is something I'm not going to be able to fully test as we go down the trail to see if there's failures or whatnot. I actually have it working fairly good now with some white lithium grease, and it seems like it is kind of lining up a little bit better. Maybe it's torquing over or something, I don't know. But as you can see, really all this work has been done to carry a Yeti cooler, and that is the Yeti 20, sporting the Black Rifle Coffee Company sticker there in the middle. And then I had ordered some of these buckle straps when I had done the rear window over there, so I had some of those extra. I am gonna put some pieces here and basically maybe not, I don't know, that thing is in there good. So I didn't realize that Yetis have this built-in section here where you can run a strap through, so that's kind of cool. That's something I don't think Pelican does. So yeah, so overall, you know, it's in there. It's pretty solid. It's definitely a hybrid installation, and I'm gonna have to figure out what to do with the Cognito bag. I'm gonna see if they wouldn't mind taking it back. I can definitely pack it into a box and send it back to them if they'll let me return it. But we'll see how that goes. So all right, so about the product. So this is, you know, basically these videos are product reviews with some installation help. I can't recommend this product. I think there's better alternatives out there. I think you could go with the Cognito product. Who knows? Maybe it's not any better either. I mean, I haven't installed it. The BRP product seems to be very popular. I do know that I wouldn't recommend this one. So you would be better off taking your chances with something else. There's limitations to this because of the center post. I should have really thought that out a little bit better. I just kind of, you know, like the looks of it and the fact that it was, you know, multiple brands. But the other ones kind of utilize like a landing spot here on the rail. Yeah, so anyways, I would go with one of the other ones. I'm going to give this product 2 stars just because the finished product is pretty decent. You know, I'm not going to take it if I didn't think that it was at least 2-star worthy, it would be coming off. Literally, I would just scrap it, because I'm not building this thing to basically compromise at all. I would just take it off and go with something else. But it's pretty good, and you know, obviously if it gives me trouble down the road, then I'll do that. The one thing that I know why I was kind of drawn to this one also, because of the looks, also was because of the good old GoPro just kind of works when it wants to. But anyways, so the fact that the straps, it doesn't use straps, it actually uses a standoff with lugs for you to mount your tire. Now hopefully I don't regret that, but I like that idea better than straps, because first off, I'm going to be able to use the security lugs. Straps are just too easily, you know, you're going to have a padlock up there and a cable, you know, lock running through it. There's just no way to secure basically when you got ratchet straps holding down your tire. And obviously I can understand why you'd want to have that tire carrier instead if you're like a racer, because you don't want to undo lugs to get to your spare. That totally makes sense to me. So obviously Cognito, you know, racing, they do that for that reason, I'm sure, and even some of the other brands. So, but the Yeti fits in there really nice. I mean, you know, so now, you know, you can see like beyond it. Let me grab my light here so I can just kind of show you that the Cognito rack, you can see a little bit better than that post. And I mean, now that post doesn't have a composite bed that it's sitting on running through to the frame. It's actually sitting on the Cognito product, so it's really stable, you know, product. And I'll be able to use the wings, you know, to mount other stuff as I want to. So yeah, pretty impressed. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Make sure to subscribe if you'd like to see more of these videos. We are going to continue doing modifications and moving on. So we have a lot of different things. Probably the next one that you will see will be the S&B particle separator. I'm going to try to sandwich that in there, so it's doesn't give me much room, but I think I'm going to be able to do it, so we'll see. All right, everybody, take care, be safe. Make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell down below so you'll be informed when we do release our next video. Take care.